man, this individual, first of all, I've always looked up to him and his team and his business forever. All right. Since day one, I've always looked at him as a coach. I've always looked at him as a solid business. And just looking at the numbers from last month, all right, last month alone, I'm going to go at the end on that one. But look, since he's been in the business since 1996, total of 15 direct RVPs. Total RVPs, he has 90, right? 90 total RVPs. He has over 7,000 licensed agents in his organization, in his hierarchy, right? He has 50 people in his hierarchy that have the ring. So 50 people in his whole organization make over 100,000 plus, right? He has 5 people in his organization that make over $1 million, all right? He is a Wall of Fame earner, right? And it's incredible. Last month alone, look at these numbers, man. Last month alone, his organization, right, and one of his codes, he has multiple codes, all right, and one of his codes did 2,411 recruits by 1.8 million in premium, all right? He did over $6.8 million in securities volume, right? That was last month on one of the codes, and it's just, there's more to be out there, and that's just through 6. I'm pretty sure he has more through 7, through 8, and so on and so forth, all right? So, man, I'm just so blessed and so excited to hear from this individual. His name is, all you got, he doesn't even need an introduction. He goes by Omar, right? But for all the new people on this call, his name is Omar Oropesa, all right? He is a Circle of Champions earner. This guy is incredible, all right? So without any further ado, I hope you have something to write down with. He is going to school us. He is going to put us back to school, and he's going to teach us something new today. So with that being said, guys, let's bring it up to the great Omar Oropesa. Are you there, Omar?
I am here.
Let's go.
You able to hear me good? Am I okay on the auto? Let me have one of these if I can hear. Okay, great. So anyways, glad to be here this morning. Dropped off my kids this morning to school. They actually went to school this morning. Unbelievable. They're jacked up about that. And what's neat about school is when you're the #1 person that writes the largest checks at the school, donation-wise, which we are, we got a private spot right in the front, and it's gated. So you drive up while everybody else is waiting in the drop-off line. We ain't got no drop-off line with the Oropesas. We drive up, we click the remote control, they open the gate, and we drive right in, and we drop them off right in the front there. So it was awesome. Everybody always looks at us like, who is that guy? You know, what did he do? Is he in the NFL or something? No, I'm in Primerica, where you can make more money than the NFL players and for longer years, actually for the rest of your life, rather than the average NFL players only in a couple of years. So anyways, let me get started. I know I only got 8 hours with you, and I'm going to squeeze it all in. Just kidding. You're like, holy shit, I got work to do today. Why does everybody join Primerica? Okay, like what's the reason they join? Now, they give you all different kinds of reasons. I want to learn about money, help people. I want to make extra money. But that's not really why they join, okay? You need to get this. The real reason they join Primerica is in their mind, they think maybe this could work. Maybe this could work out where they could grow a business and live a dream life. But the reason they're giving you these other reasons why they join, like they just want to help people and they want to make, is they don't believe they're able to do it. I think they know it works. Once they're here long enough and you look around at all these people making all this money, they know it works, but they don't believe they can do it. And so that they don't believe it, they don't verbalize it. So when you ask them, why are you here? They're going to give you some bullcrap answer like, oh, I just want to learn about money. And it's not true. Everybody wishes that they were able to grow this business where they could live wherever they want, drive whatever they want, travel wherever they want, wake up whenever they want. I mean, this morning, honestly, Eric, when you asked me, I was looking at the clock like 9:30. like in the morning? Like you guys wake up that early? But I remembered that I needed to drop off my kids this morning at school. So I said, all right, I'll do it for you. But I love you guys anyways. I always have. I could remember when you guys were in college and I was up there and I wanted to watch an NFL game and there was nowhere to watch it in town. And you guys said, watch it over our house. We have a dish. We could watch any games. So I was over at your house hanging out. And that was like a long time ago. You guys weren't even in Primerica yet. You were in college, and look at you guys now, growing, recruiting, working with your parents who are awesome, which is amazing, to watch. That's what I dream about. That's one reason that I work, okay? I have 11,800,000 right now. So our personal investment accounts have 11,800,000. I got a huge hierarchy, huge override income rolling in. I don't need to work. Everybody asks me, why do you work still? I work because I want relevance, number one, okay? I couldn't imagine waking up with no relevance, okay? That's number one. But number two is when I look at you guys, okay, Eric and Jason, I think, what if Olivia and Brady end up working with me? Like that would be the ultimate dream, is have your kids with you in a business that is amazing, that change your life forever and ever and ever. And you don't know what they do, right? When you were younger, you didn't know what you were doing yet, but eventually that your parents were in the game, they led you this way. So that's why I'm in the game. That's why I'll never retire unless our kids grow old and they never join Primerica. Then one day I'll retire maybe. But other than that, if we could work with our kids, that is the ultimate. And if you're new out there and you're listening to this, ask you this question, right? Who would want their kids doing what they do, right? Like I've worked here over 20 years and I pray to God daily, bless me and let Olivia and Brady work with me, do what I do. Most people, if you were brutally honest, you would pray that, God, please don't let my kids have to do what I do as a living. Please don't let my kids live with the stresses that I have, with the loans that I have, with the pressures that I have. And Primerica is different. It's like, please let them learn the way that I've learned so they can live the life that I have, right? So you need to look at right now, you're going, it's hard. I got a rejection yesterday. I got a no yesterday. Listen, that ain't hard. You know what's hard? Ending up 80 years old, flat broke, and living with regret. That's hard, right? Now is when you lay it on the line, right? So anyways, the reason everybody really joins is they want to live the dream, okay? Whether they verbalize it or not, that's what they want. Now, if they're not verbalizing it, it's a problem, okay? Because if they're not verbalizing it, and if you know me, I've always verbalized it. Even when I was at the watch, okay? I was a little licky-do RVP, and I was like, I'm going to get rich. I'm going to grow a big business. And the reason is I believed it. See, you've got to believe it. If you don't believe it, then you're not verbalizing it. And if you're not verbalizing it, the odds of you doing it are zero. Hear this out. Zero. There's no way you could get anybody, to let you lead them if they don't know you really believe. You can't get anybody to lead you unless you know it'll happen. And I knew as long as I outworked everybody, as long as I learned everything that I needed, to learn, there was no way possible that I would not grow a business, right? So your brain is so powerful. If you don't believe it, it will not let you work the way you need to work. Like the only way you're going to work with the energy and the effort and the relentlessness that you need in order to grow a monster hierarchy is if you truly in your heart know it will happen. You gotta believe it. How did I do that? I looked around at all the leaders and I'm like, look, Jimmy Meyer, Hector Lamarck, Bill Whittle. I mean, even Whittle, he looks perfect. He almost looks like Jesus in a way, right? With his hair and everything, right? But they're all just regular people. Like Whittle was flat broke when Whittle joined Primerica, a teacher making no money, okay? He changed and worked his way into the great Bill Whittle. Meyer worked his way in, to the great Jimmy Meyer. Hector worked his way into the great Hector Lamar. Who I am now is not who I was 20 years ago. I've evolved, I've changed, I've improved. And over the next 20 years, guess what I'll do? I'll evolve, I'll change, I'll improve. Otherwise, I won't grow. The only way to grow is if you're growing. So anyways, when you believe it, that's when you'll really make the effort. You've got to make an effort. One of those talks that you need to have with you every day is, like, every day, literally, I wake up half hour and I don't leave the bed. I lay there and I visualize what life will look like in the future. And I've always done that. The life that I live now is the life that I envisioned years ago. I mean, I live in a mansion on a private golf course with the lake, then the golf course. I got no neighbor on the right. I got a one-level house, which is the only one-level house on our block next, to the other side. And with all the trees, it looks like I have no neighbors. So I got a view of the golf course, no neighbors, lake, mansion, private gated community. There ain't no looting and rioting happening here, okay? Now, the neighborhood that I grew up in, that's another story. So that's another thing, is you need to know, listen, where you grew up, the way you grew up has no relevance at all on where you end up. Where you end up is all about you. You need to be brutally honest with you. Are you doing the work? How do you know? Here's the way you know. If you're brutally honest, how many hours last week did you prospect? Brutally honest. Don't be lying like I made one call and write in like an hour, okay? How many hours were you prospecting last week? If you believed that this would work, you would wake up every day jacked up. You'd want to prospect, because in your head, you would say, what if I recruited an Omar? What if I recruit a Willie? What if I recruit a Miguel? They're out there. And if you knew this would work, you would want to prospect. Here's the problem. In your own mind, your own verbiage, you use words like, I need to go prospect. I have, to prospect. What do you ever do that you need to do? Nothing. I need to lose weight. You don't do it. You have to want it. I want to go prospect. I want to lose weight. I want to work hard. When you want to do it, if you notice, you do whatever you want to do, but you don't do what you need, to do. So quit having that one-on-one with you every day. I need to recruit more. I need to work harder. No. I want to work hard. I'm lucky that I'm blessed that I'm in Primerica, that working hard has huge results. And over the long run will let me live a dream life. So I'm jacked up about working hard, recruiting and training. So how many hours last week did you prospect? How many hours last week did you work on improving your skills? What do you mean? People skills, disciplines like tracking your life policies all the way to issue, working on those rollovers, closing skills, handling objection skills, F&A skills. So there's skills that you need to master. How many hours last week did you work on that? And then last, how many hours last week did you work on your product knowledge? Right? Here's the crazy thing. If we asked you, everybody, write down the number of hours you invested last week in prospecting, improving your skills, and improving your product knowledge, the answer you would throw up. But yet you say, but I want to win, coach. I want to grow a business. No. Because if you did, you would have invested time last week in all those things, prospecting, improving your skills, improving your product knowledge. I bet you if I gave you an Omar Primerica examination, nobody on this call would ace it. If I ask you questions related to every product we offer, every annuity product, every income rider, when to use which one with what client and why, every mutual fund, life, why do I use Term Pro versus Advantage versus Term Now? When would I do that? When is it in the client's interest? We got amateurs in Primerica. That's the problem. Nobody works. I worked my ass off where I was a pro at everything. You could ask anybody that knows me. You could ask Glenn Williams. You could ask anybody. Whenever they have a question about anything, they ring me up because they know that I know the answer. And why? Because I work at it. Even now, managed accounts. I am mastering managed accounts like you. I mean, let me tell you, pretty soon, I'm going to know more than everybody in the whole company knows about that. Okay. Why? Because I'm working on it. I just earned the license in January. And, I was like, in 1 year, I will know everything. And I've been gradually learning about it, right? So anyways, prospecting, people skills, all your other skills, and product. If you really believed it, you'd be working on that stuff every day. Not in lieu of working. You got to work. You got to recruit, train, appointments. But I mean, if you woke up a little bit earlier and you did an hour, 2 hours in the morning every day, imagine over a month, 2 months, 90 days, how you would improve. Primerica is nothing more than an improvement business. The more you improve, the more you make money. The more you don't improve, you're going to remain average. Have you ever wondered why there's vice presidents that have worked here for 25 years and they make 100 grand a year? And they've been making 100 grand a year for the last 11 years because they quit growing, they quit learning, they quit improving, right? I mean, I got vice presidents who have worked here longer than me, and I make more in 1 month than they make all year. Why? What's the difference? I'm not greater than they are. I just worked harder. Work is a great equalizer. Okay, working hard is a great equalizer. So let me move on now to Primerica, right? Number one thing you need to learn is Primerica is a numbers business. It's not intelligence. You got to be smart, to learn all the stuff, but it's not intelligence. It's not, well, the smarter you are, the more you'll earn. Actually, smarter you are works against you a little bit because you overanalyze everything, you logical everything, well, that's not logical that you did 1,900,000 in premium last month and you recruited 2,200 recruits or whatever the number is. I don't even know what the numbers are anymore. Okay, it's crazy. I used to know everything. I know close though. I'm a numbers guy. But it's all about numbers and knowing the numbers. So let me give you, I'm going to click on this other screen here, and we're going to get some good teaching, okay? So it's a numbers game. Here's the way it works, whether you like it or not, okay? Whether you like it or not. Let me explain. It's number of licensed reps times this number, that's Primerica's number for the history, times 2 life apps each times, let's just use 1 grand in premium, equals total premium. So let me give you an example. If you got 100 licensed reps times this number means you have this number of reps that write business on a regular basis. On average, you're going to write that number of apps. So you're going to have that number of apps in your base shop. And if you average 1 grand in premium, you're going to average this in premium. Okay, a month. Now, hear me now. Hear me clearly. The only number you could change, the only variable number is this number. Now, when you're small, these ratios won't hold true. These ratios are the laws of large numbers. Rick Williams, our old executive officer, who's one of the smartest men that I know, it was like 20 years ago, he and I were grabbing lunch, and Rick went over this with me, and it stuck in my head. He's like, Omar, you're never going to get more than that number of reps producing in your organization if you're large. If you're small, these numbers won't apply because there's a lot of variables. You could recruit a winner that really works like crazy, but the larger you get, these are Primerica's averages over all their years that they've worked. So the only variable is number of reps. And I was smart enough, to say, I can control that. I can control that. Now, at that time, I was earning maybe 80 grand a year. I was at 88 licensed reps. I was a little guy, and I was on a mission. He let me know the more licensed reps that you get, this number, the premium number, will grow and grow and grow. So let me give you an example. So this is what I did. I said, okay, SNSD means you got to do this much in premium. And SNSD means you need 9 vice presidents direct. And that equals $1 million a year. Okay, this is where all the analytical brain that I have really helped me. So then I said, okay, well, in order to do that premium, how many licensed reps must I get? So what I did is I just used a round number. I said, if we had that number of licensed reps and we used that equation that they gave us, okay, so that number of reps times that number of apps equals that number of apps there times 1 grand in premium each. I'm doing this much in premium. That would mean I'm an SNSD. That would mean I make $1 million a year. That would mean that I am free, that I could live the dream. I've got quality of life. I could wake up when I want, work when I want, screw off when I want, do whatever I want, whenever I want to do. Not with whoever I want anymore because I'm married. But you know what I mean, right? And so that was the goal. Now, you're probably looking at me like, Omar, I got one licensed guy, me. I can that start to open your brain or you have no chance. Okay? Get the negative shit out of your head. Okay, quit with because you have these one-on-ones. I'm not a good recruiter. I'm not a good leader. Well, then guess what? You're right. You need to have one-on-ones. I'm a great recruiter. I'm a great leader. I'm willing to grow. I'm willing to change. I'm willing, to improve. You have those one-on-ones. Hang out with the right individuals. Remove all the negative people out of your life. Yeah. Oh, but my brother, I love him. He's negative. If your brother's negative right now, remove him out of your life. But that's my brother. Who cares? Anybody that was negative, I removed out of my life. I was only around positive people with dreams and goals, and that's what rubbed off. You're going to wind up exactly like whoever you hang out with. I'm telling you. Okay? Now, let me not overwhelm you. So look, this was the ultimate goal, 1,000 code numbers. But I had like 88. So 1,000 was a long way away, right? I mean, that was like in my mind at that time. I'm like, I'll never get there. That's a lot. But you have to have a plan. Okay? So you had a goal, and it's that number of licensed reps. And then you need a plan. So my plan was very, very easy. I wanted to, I'm sorry, let me erase that. I wanted to hit 100, and then I wanted to hit that, and then I wanted to hit that, and then hit that, and then 1,000. thousand. I had a plan. I knew I wasn't. It's like when you want to lose weight, right? I want to lose 90 pounds. Okay, when you look at 90 pounds to lose, it's like, holy crap. But if you go 10 pounds, I want to lose 10 pounds, and then I'll work on the next goal after that. So really, 100, how I viewed it was, if I got 10 directs and we license this number of reps each. Oh, I'm sorry. My math's off because it's early in the morning. 10, that would equal 110 license reps. That was my goal. 10 directs that I help personally get 10 license reps on their team. That was my plan. Now, you may go, but I don't recruit enough people. Well, that's your problem. I can't resolve your laziness, okay? I can't resolve your lack of work ethic. I can only let you know what you need to do, let you have a plan to do it, and if you believe you could do it, then guess what? You're right. Now, so remember, this is a numbers game. So let me move over to this other page. Your numbers, here's what you've got to do. Your number one job in Primerica, okay, is not, to recruit or write premium. It's to grow the number of licensed reps. If you grow the number of licensed reps, the recruiting numbers go up, the life premium numbers go up, the investment volume goes up, the income goes up, everything goes up. If you don't grow the number of licensed reps, you're in no man's land. Let me give you an example. I have a good friend. I won't use his name because you would know who he is. He makes approximately this much a year, okay? He has this number of licensed reps. Now, this is right now in the year 2020. He rang me up and he was frustrated. Man, I don't understand why I'm not growing my income. I'm working so hard. And I went on Primerica Online. There's a place on Primerica Online that you can look at every year, all your numbers for every year you've worked here. And I'm going to log on with you where you can look at that. But this is the crazy part. Okay, Jason, listen to this. This is important. We looked all the way back at 2010. In 2010, he made that much also. In 2010, he had this number of licensed reps. How do you go 10 years? I said, damn you, I've been telling you what to do for more than 10 years. You let me know you're listening. You let me know you're coachable, but you ain't coachable because you have not grown your code numbers in 10 flipping years. And that's why you don't make more money. And you're going to get old. You're going to get tired. You're not going to want to work as much. And your income's going to go down. Look at my hands. When you're young, like Jason and Eric are, okay, not like me, but when you're young like Jason and Eric, you can outwork your number of licensed reps, meaning you can earn more income than you really ought to make with the number of licensed reps you have. You can outwork that. What you have to do is while you're working up here, here's your number of licensed reps. Over time, this is important. You have to grow those licensed reps where you could slowly not work like an animal like you used to work, where eventually now all your income is all override and you don't need to work anymore. Early on, it's the other way around. Early on, it's all you're working is all your income and your overrides are very little. But if you don't grow code numbers over all the years, you're going to wake up one day, you're going to be tired. You're going to be old. You're like, oh man, this sucks. Primerica doesn't work. No, Primerica works perfectly. You did not do your job. Your number one job is to grow licensed codes. How do you do that? Well, you recruit 2 to 3 directs a month. What does that mean a year? That number a year, okay? You don't need to recruit 98 directs in a year. That actually won't even help you. But when you recruit 2 to 3 directs a year, and then here's the most critical part that everybody misses, you're involved in 10 recruits a month, Okay. What does that mean? Well, if you recruited that number direct, okay, and then you help them recruit 3, help them recruit 3, and then one more recruited 1, that's 10 that you did. Not your team, not your base shop. You were personally involved in 10 recruiting transactions per month. I challenge you to track that. Okay? When you look at how little you do of the right stuff, how much time you waste on the wrong stuff, you're going to realize why you're not growing. And then when you realize, you can adjust it and you can change it. Okay? Now, so look, this is number 1 and this is number 2. Now, number 3, you need to do this much in premium, okay, training those recruits. Okay? This premium's got to come from all those recruits. You can't count if you're training one of your recruits that's already licensed, that's not in that batch of recruits that month. You can't count that premium. You only count the premium from the recruits that you were involved with that month. Why is this important? This premium number tells me how much training is really going on versus recruiting. Because if you recruit and you don't train and you don't, then recruiting is really worthless, okay? But if you recruit and you train and they watch it work and you're really teaching them, then you're going to grow. And the last one, so number 4, and this is a big one, you must license half of the recruits you recruited directly. You've got to license half of this is what I did. What I'm letting you know is what I did, what Willie did, what Elijah did, what Fernando did. Like this is what I'm telling you. I've been preaching for 20 years. I not only preached it, I did it. And then others were like, wait a minute, it's working. Look at Omar's income is growing. Licensed reps are growing. All his numbers are growing. Every year we grew. Every year. I mean, I can't remember. Maybe one year, like in 2009, our numbers dropped when like the world was ending. But other than that, we've grown our numbers every single year. But the reason we've grown it is number of licenses, because what happens when you got multiple people working this plan, when you got 8, 9, 10 people working that plan, Eric, what happens? Jason, what happens, right? Well, the only way you're going to get 8, 9, 10 people working that plan is if you, the leader, are working that plan and you're verbalizing it and you're letting them know about it and you're bringing it up every week in training and you're letting them look at the results. Look, I closed this much in premium this month. Here's who I was training, blah, 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 blah. Another great thing I used to do is I said, okay, write a line every month and you list the names of the recruits that you were involved in, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way down to number 10. Then you list the life apps closed, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 10. But here's what you do. You ready for this? And I bet you, Jason, nobody's ever let you know this. Draw a line from where the premium came from. Okay, so this recruit led me to this life app, led me to that life app, led me to that life app. This recruit led me to this one. This recruit led me to nobody. This recruit led me to nobody. You know what happens in Primerica? They're running 2 businesses. This happens when we started running this little monthly deal. People realized that the life apps they were closing weren't even coming from the recruits they were recruiting. It's crazy. They were running a recruiting business And then they were working client names and clients leading them, you know, to clients and closing life sales. So they were working 2 different businesses, which is not going to grow your business. All this must relate to each other. The recruits got to lead you to premium because that's where you train them, teach them. You got that? So anyways, you have to grow code numbers, right? So if you're growing code numbers every year, you're going to grow. I'm going to give you, I know I don't really have 8 hours, so really I'm trying to rush this as long as I can, but I'm going to give you some goals that you aim at, okay? So number 1, if you get in this range and you're licensed and you're trained and you know what you're doing, you're going to earn anywhere between there to there a year. Okay? That's as an RL or an RVP. Okay? So as you're growing in that range, that's the range you're going to grow in. Then when you get to 100 to about that much codes, you're going to earn anywhere minimum between 100.5 up to that much a year. I'm going to prove this to you. I'm going to log online and let you look at our RVPs, code numbers, and their incomes so that you know this is real, because it's one thing that I verbalize it and that I write it down, but it's another thing that you look at it on Primerica Online. It'll blow you away, okay? Now, you get to here, you know, to there in codes, and your income is $500,000 to approximately this much a year. And then you get there. Oh, I'm sorry. I added 1 0. There to there. And you make anywhere between there, you know, to 1 million plus. That is your holy grail. You should make a banner or I don't know what those things, a canvas of that, and you should write on it Omar's Holy Grail, and you should write the date that we ran this training, and you should hang it up in your office. As a matter of fact, when I'm in your office next, if it's not there, I'm blasting all of you, okay? This is the Holy Grail. So listen, I want either Eric or Jason, I want you to look at these numbers, snap a picture of it, and I want you to unmute, because I'm going to now log on Primerica Online, and I want to ask you questions related with this one slide. I'm going to ask you what were the code numbers with this income. We're going to look at some vice presidents real quick here, because I think when you visualize it, it's worth more than any words are able, you know, to let you know. So let me click here to, let me close this out. And let me share screen. Let me log on live. Primerica, just kidding. All right, so who is unmuted? Is it Eric or Jason?
Coach, I'm here. This is Eric.
Okay. So, Eric, we're going to look at one of our new vice presidents, and I'm going to look at his code numbers. What is the number of codes right there?
25.
25. Look on your grid. What is the range of the income?
30,000 to 150,000.
Okay, so watch. Let's look at his here. NCM 11, Will Espinales, 12 months. How many licensed reps he have again? So that everybody
25. 25.
25. Look at his income. 80 grand. 80,000 bucks for 25 license. Now, he knows what he's doing. He's Omar trained. He knows the products. He knows how to close. He knows how to ask questions. But he knows he needs to grow the number of licensed reps, or otherwise it ain't going to happen. He's going to earn 80 grand a year for the rest of his life, okay? Which is terrible. Now, let's look at the next level of code numbers. Let's look at Brant Vote. Okay, he's got, at the end of July, he had what number of licensed reps? Let's see.
110.
110. So with 110, what's the range of income?
150 to a half a mil.
Okay, so obviously with 110, he's on the low end of that spectrum, right?
Yes, sir.
So when you look there, 12-month cash flow, July, his income is, oh, that's me. Sorry. I'm like, wait a minute. He got a raise I didn't know about. What's his income there?
210.
With 110 codes. How many do you have, Eric? I'm curious.
173.
What do you make?
256.
So would you tell me you're like in that range?
Yes, sir.
How many reps, do you need to move up, to the next range?
301.
301. And you need to grow your personal production, investments, add some loans in there, right? Okay, now
Yes,
look,
sir.
let's look at one with a little bit larger code numbers. Let's look at Mark. Now watch his rolling 12 income. What does that income read?
430,000.
And watch his number of licensed reps. How many licensed rep he got?
298.
298, okay? And then I want you to look at, you could also look at all your years. Like, let me look. If you look right here, nobody knows this. I don't know if you know it or not. Personal production, if you click on personal production, and then this lets you look at every year you were in Primerica. So let me scroll all the way down to when I had the number of licensed reps you had, Eric. So watch, let me go all the way back to right here. That year, you've got to click year end, okay? You have to click year end, okay? Or it won't work. And then hierarchy counts. I had a little bit more than you, I think. I don't know. Let's see. How many licensed reps I got there?
254.
Which is pretty much what you got, right?
I'm at 170.
Oh,
174. My income's at 254, 256.
Okay, and then if you look, though, look at the income I made with that number of licensed reps. Boom, right there. You see it there? We were averaging 100 grand a month in premium and 100 recruits. We were averaging 100 a month, right? Now you look at this real quick. The next year, watch what happened. Now, remember the number of licensed reps I had, right? Now, 1 year later, I went from 200.5 to, I added like 100 codes, right?
345. Yes, sir.
Right. So in 1 year, I added approximately 100. So what did that do to my income? Boom. I'm averaging 11 grand a week. 11 grand a week in overrides. And then watch, 1 year later, just 1 year later, how many licensed reps? Let's look. Hierarchy counts. How many licensed reps there?
473.
And then the income with that, 800,000 bucks almost, right? And then you look at the next year, every year, every year I grew code numbers. If you look, hierarchy counts this last year, '08, we had 800 code numbers. And with 800 code numbers that year, actually that year, I crossed 900 grand, but that was in like April, and then everything crashed that year. I don't know if you remember, but $800,000. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, you gotta believe you could do it, because if you do, you're right. And if you don't, you're right. Okay? You gotta believe it. Then if you really believe it, you have to have a one-on-one every day with you. I'm a great leader. I'm going to change. I'm a great recruiter. I'm a great builder. I'm a great trainer. Brainwash you. You got to verbalize it out loud, because when you verbalize it out loud and your brain hears it over and over and over again, guess what? It's true. People used to always, say, Omar, man, his ego is so big. He's so conceited. They didn't realize I wasn't talking, for them. I was talking to brainwash me. So you guys worry too much about what everybody, thinks about you, right? If you know me, I don't give a shit what you think about me. Let me tell you, right? All the people that know me, the only one that I care about is the Lord Jesus Christ, my wife, Olivia, and Brady. That's it. Nobody else has zero relevance on what I worry about, okay? I worry about me changing, growing, developing in all areas. Husband, a dad, leader in business with influence and impact. I mean, I do meetings all over the country, usually, not now with COVID, but they fly me everywhere, and I change lives everywhere, right? That's what you gotta be having a one-on-one with you. One day, they're gonna fly me everywhere. One day, I'm gonna run huge meetings. One day, everybody will learn off of what I'm doing now, right? You've gotta have a little oomph in your talk. You're not able to be like, well, that's just not the way I'm wired. Okay, well then change. You wanna grow, you wanna get big, change. So anyways, have a one-on-one with you, have a plan of, incremental growing code numbers, and work on your skills, work on the product knowledge, and prospect. You do all those things, everything happens. It's magical. Listen, we live a dream life. Let me just let you look real quick. This was last month's cash flow. Watch, FAY09, July. Okay, somebody with a calculator, Eric, if you could add that number right now, okay, plus I own another code number, a little one that I've nicknamed Omar's Allowance, okay? This is Omar's Allowance code number. You add that in there. Right there, Eric, this number. If you would unmute, how much money was my last month's income?
$154,149.
154,149. That's what I made last month, okay? We are on pace, to make, I don't know, 1,800,000, and we're adding loans in there too. We're gonna cross 2 million, but you know what? It really doesn't matter anymore. Like when you've got 11,800,000 put away and you have no debt, no mortgage, like that, the income is nothing more than a reflection of the lives you're changing. When I look at that income, in my mind, I think Willie and Lorena's life has changed forever. Miguel Elijah's life has changed forever. Wayne Luke's life has changed forever. Joe's life has changed forever. Rick's life has changed forever. Evelyn's life has changed forever. I could go on and on and on and on and on. The income, that's what it represents. When you're not where I'm at, you need the money. I get it. But you're going to learn. This is the craziest lesson I've ever learned. When you don't got money, you want everything. You want a Lamborghini, you want a Rolex watch, you want a nice house, you want this. When you've got the money to get whatever you want, you know what you realize? None of that crap is worth a shit. It's nice to have, but what is worth all the work that I went through is the quality of life that I've got. This morning, driving my kids, to school versus me driving, to a job. Driving them that they're even able, that they're even in school because they're in a private school, a private Christian school, and the Christian school takes no money off the government, so they don't need to listen to the government. So we're open. Our kids are in school. They're not home learning online or not learning nothing online, okay? You're going to learn when you get to where I am, the quality of life where you can leave for 8 weeks, 8-week vacations with your kids and just enjoy them and create memories. Just that your wife never worked a job in her life, that we have Luce, who's worked with us for 18 years, Monday through Friday, cleans our house, does our groceries, like washes our clothes. We live the dadgum dream life. It's worth all the work. Why are you half-assing it? You got this great opportunity to change your life forever. Brady and Olivia's trust funds have $500,000 each. They're in middle school and they got $500,000 each. If you annualize that out, use the rule of 72, they're going to wind up with like $80 million like later on in life, okay? I'm not telling you none of this, to brag. I'm telling it to you so you know it's worth it. So maybe you want it a little bit more. So maybe it moves you a little bit more into action. Because without action, you ain't going to win. You got to have a massive amount of action. And here's the good news. It's not for the rest of your life. I worked really hard for that many years. Look at my hand on the screen. 5 years, like morning, noon, and night. And then every year after that, I worked a little bit less. And then I worked a little bit less. And for the last 12 years, I've been living the dream. Or even longer than that, actually. It's crazy. So it's really, really worth it. So Eric, Jason, if you'd like, to ask me questions, I'm available. So I can open up. Yvonne's there. Hi, Yvonne. Where's your husband at? He around?
Yeah, he's there too. The whole family's here. The whole hierarchy
cool.
is here.
Okay, cool.
And man, we're just so thankful.
I'm
Man.
right
Thank
here,
you so
Omar.
much.
Hey, what's up, brother? How you doing?
You the man. You the man. Man, you took us to school today, brother. I'm telling you, this was, and I'm willing to bet that everyone on this call will say the same thing. This has been the best training ever. I am telling you. I mean, I've heard you talk about this, but usually on a conference, usually over here, you got a buddy over here. But this was undivided attention. Just focusing on what you put out there. And let me tell you, it hit home, man. It hit home. So, open it up for questions or anything like that. But I'm telling you, Omar, I appreciate you so much. And I remember the day you came to the house, man.
I remember that day.
Man. That was some years ago, man. You're actually about 14 or 15 years ago. But you're right, man. I love you dearly, brother. I really
love
do.
you too.
Yeah. I love you too.
Eric?
Yeah. Anyone else there?
Any questions?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I really
For
appreciate it, Coach. Man, thank you so much for. Let me mute. I think I gotta mute Dad. Let me mute him real quick. All right. Perfect. So yeah, man, Coach, man, I really appreciate the technical training. That's exactly what the hierarchy needed to hear. We've had some people come on board, and there was a lot of motivation, which is great. But we needed the sauce. We needed the meat and potatoes. And man, we just thank you so much for that. I have my dad just keeps muting himself, but real quick, one question that I do have for you as well is that we have we have some RVPs. We're going after this Ruby run. We're taking our parents, their code to $1 million. And we just want to know, man, obviously we should be focusing on codes, but you've had several people in your organization go from, 500,000, and it wasn't just like 2 years, 3 years, 4 years that they made it to $1 million. They made it like rapidly. They made it like every other month they're jumping diamonds. So
listen,
what advice
Eric,
can you give the hierarchy?
Listen, Eric, the only reason they did that is they grew code numbers. There is no other way. How many code numbers right now does your parents have?
Coach?
Yeah. How many?
They have close to 600.
Okay, so after listening to my training, what do you need to do?
We need to do over 1,200 codes.
Or at least 1,000. At least 1,000 code numbers, right? So you need to get it up to 1,000. How do you do that? You get multiple people recruiting directs involved in 10, writing the premium, licensing half of their directs, and you get multiple people doing that, and the energy happens, and then the licensing explodes. All of our guys that crossed $1 million crossed it with that number of licensed reps. Are you able to cross it with less than that? You can, but remember what I went over. You can outwork the number of licensed reps, right? All those jokers that cross $1 million with less reps, you know what they do? They drop under $1 million, right? You don't want to be one of those that oh yeah, he's $1 million earner. Sure, because you know me, I'll like call you out, right? Like where was I? I think in Dallas this year at the SLM, the leadership meeting. Were you there? Do you make $250,000 yet or no?
Coach, I do now. Yes, sir.
Okay, well, last year you weren't there, so you need to make sure you're there this year. But at that meeting, I called out Ian Pruckner and all the $1 million earners. I said, if you're $1 million earner, you're walking around with your little ruby ring, letting everybody know you're $1 million earner, and you drop under $1 million, you need to get your ass to work. That was what I said in the meeting while they were all there. I challenged every last one of their bucks. And you know what they did? The winners, Ian, he's a winner. He went to work again. Now he's at 1-1. But he was at like 920 then, and I was cracking the whip on him. So you want to cross $1 million, but you don't want to cross $1 million then drop $1 million. You want to cross. So like, watch this. Watch. Let me let you look at this real quick. If you look at this personal production, again, the year, let me go right here. Year end. Like, look, here's the year I crossed $1 million there. Okay, you see that? Look, all year long, I recruited one direct. He ruined my streak. I wanted to recruit 0, but this guy begged me, can you please recruit me? I want you to train me. So look, notice the only premium I did was training that one recruit all year long. And I was like pissed off because I wanted to cross $1 million with 0 recruits and 0 premium, or it was all overrides, right? But anyways, watch this though. That was when I crossed $1 million. But the very next year, 12 months later, I went over $1.1 million, $1.2 million, $1.3 million. I didn't cross $1 million, and then the next year I'm at $800,000 in income, right? So to cross $1 million, you got to grow the business. It's the business you're growing, not the income you make. Like an NFL player, he could earn $1 million this year. He gets injured. He's out next year. He makes nothing. But if you grow 800-900 licensed reps, 1,000 code numbers, you ain't dropping under the $1 million. It's a legit $1 million business. So that's what you got to do. You see, even you don't even realize it. And you're asking me, like what else, we got to do, right? Because you don't realize it, but in your mind, you're like, man, we got to grow that many codes. What else can we do? No, that is the thing. You got to rally everybody around that. Because you get that done, like you're going to grow your license reps. Jason will grow his license reps, all the other RVP. Like, look, how many vice presidents are in the whole hierarchy?
10, coach, 10.
11,
Okay.
11, Eric.
So if you split it up, how many license reps would you each need to grow? 40. That's it. 40. So you need to run some contest or recognition or something when you get your, 40, you're in the club. You could run a contest when you get your, 40, you're going to drive and visit Omar, have lunch at his country club, whatever, something like that. You know what I'm saying? But they need to get 40 codes. Each one of you guys do that, and you're there. You could get there in 8-9 months. But not if you're looking around, like, what else are we able to do? Right? Like, that's it. You got to ramp up your recruiting, of course. And you need to really learn licensing and track licensing and get people licensed. That's what Willie did, Elijah, Diana, Fernando did it. Gus did it many, many years ago. Actually, he didn't do it. I did it for him. But he had already moved away to Atlanta, right? But every one of our guys that crossed 1 million, that's what they did. So if you want to cross 1 million, that's what you got to do.
Coach, I appreciate it, man. That's it. Straight up. That's all we have to do is focus in on codes and keep doing what we're doing. Man, I appreciate it, Coach. And so, as customary, we like to bring in head coach Ed Ortiz. Ed, you want to close this meeting out for us?
Yep, I sure do, man. Like I said, we're focused now. This is, and you're absolutely right. Sometimes we approach this business from all points. Hey, let's focus on the investment. Let's focus on insurance, on all that stuff. And the main thing here is that we got to stay focused on these licenses, okay? And it's amazing that you did that, because on the accountability that we do every morning, we switched it, and then the company is going that way as well. If we're gonna go out, it's focusing on license. And if you do 10 licenses at $1,000, you guys know the deal. So we got to stay focused on this license. So we're gonna come up with a game plan, and our focus from here on out is going to be license. We got to get these licenses going, and we got to teach these licenses how to get more license. But that's the only way to go if we're going to maintain, just hitting 1 million is a good deal, but you don't want to hit 1 million and then go down. You want to continue that growth right there. And I've noticed that this organization, Omar's organization, all of their codes, they just continue growing. And everyone in this business whose income is continuing, it's codes. So we got to stay focused on codes. And codes are licenses. We got to focus on license. So, and not only that, so it's critical that whenever we recruit someone, hey, we got to get them field trained just to show them the business. But the main thing is that we got to get that person licensed. So when they're licensed, at least they know what to do with that license. And we got to get them promoted. But the main thing is the license. So let's focus on that, guys. And man, I'm telling you, we're going to put our game plan, and it's going to be based on that. That's going to be the main objective, is we're going to hit licenses, code. Okay, so let's focus on that. Let's do it big, man, because we already got our march. We got the game plan. Now it's a matter of just fine-tuning it and get this thing going the way we want it going. So, man, I cannot thank you so much. I cannot thank you enough, Omar, for what you just done here. You just took us to the next level. We know our direction. Now we're going to make it happen. So thank you again. And thanks everybody for being on this call. We had a boatload of folks, guys, and we just got to continue growing this thing. Okay. So, tomorrow we have another great person. Patty Schechter is going to be on with us. Man, that's going to be so awesome, man. And I'm telling, but I can't say enough, man. I just got to get to work and focus on this thing. So With that, Omar, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for being on this call. I love you guys. Let's take it to the next level. And if you could just